We have once again made it to the end of the week, and with it being Friday, you all know what that means here on this channel. A few weeks ago, I started a series called Your Take, Not Mine, where I look to you guys to tell me some of your hottest takes surrounding the NBA world, and I, in return, feature you in a video and give my thoughts on the topic. After the last episode, I saw all of your comments that you left saying that you wanted a community post on YouTube, as well as the tweet notifying you all about the series when it's going to go up, so I listened and gathered a good mix from both Twitter and YouTube for today's video. Before we get started though, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, as all support is very much appreciated. Now with that being said, let's begin. The first take we'll be discussing comes to us from Tempest, and it's a very simple one, saying that Kemba Walker is overrated. This isn't the juiciest take in the world, but it is something that I've actually been thinking for a while, and this postseason emphasized this notion substantially. Ever since his college days at UConn, Kemba has been a fan favorite, and for very good reason. He's a good dude with a very fun playstyle, and once he starts to heat up, he can be one of the most entertaining bucket getters in the NBA. His handle is smooth and crafty, he has a nasty step back jumper, and all in all, he's just a good scorer of the basketball. As a result, the more liked players amongst NBA fans tend to be the ones that get the most favorable ratings when discussing how good the player actually is and where they rank comparatively against the other NBA players in the league at their position. And this is where I tend to agree with the take at hand that Kemba has become a bit overrated. When Kyrie Irving left the Celtics this summer and replaced him with Kemba, I saw many people go as far as to say that Kemba was actually the better player than Kyrie Irving because of his willingness to serve a role more within the team concept. But in the playoffs, that wasn't exactly the case. Kemba has had several games this postseason where he just kind of went ghost, with the most notable one being in Game 6 against the Toronto Raptors that went to overtime, and Kemba only managed to score 5 points total. Kemba seems to get all of the praise that a star player would without ever being held to the standards that other star players do, and at the current moment, with the rise of so much good young talent, he might not even be a top 10 point guard anymore. The next take we'll be discussing comes to us from James, and he says that Coby White will emerge as the best player from the 2019 NBA draft. Now, it's been a long time since we've been able to watch any team that wasn't invited back to the bubble because of the COVID layoff, and so as a result, a lot of young, entertaining players that probably deserve more attention have been out of the public eye for quite an extended period of time. The Bulls fall under this category, having been eliminated a long time ago from contention, but they are an exciting young team with potential, and Coby White definitely falls under that category. Like most rookie guards, he got off to a slow start early in the season filled with inconsistent play, but as the year went on, he started to put it all together more and more, and it culminated in a phenomenal stretch where he scored over 30 points 3 games in a row off the bench, and he scored over 20 points in 8 of his last 9 games. White was drafted to be a combo guard with a knack for shot creation and pure shooting ability, and next year I would not be surprised at all to see him break out in a big way now that Coach Boylen is gone. However, the take here is that he will be the best player from the draft class, which is where I get hesitant. Ja Morant is someone that I see being a star throughout the majority of his career. Zion Williamson obviously has unreal potential as long as his health allows him to. Tyler Hero is showcasing himself in a big way in the playoffs this year, and several other rookies are obviously going to have great careers as well. Could he be up there in that top tier from the draft class? Absolutely. I just don't think he'll end up as the best of the group. Now, kind of piggybacking off of that last topic, the next take comes to us from Funyun, and he says that Zion Williamson will never be an All-NBA player because of his fitness problems and his weight, which is also probably a worry about his long-term health. There is no denying that Zion's talent is through the roof, and his upside is genuinely superstar level, but his rookie season had just as many lows as it did highs, and also left fans just as concerned as they were before the season as they are now. To put everything into perspective first, Zion finished the year averaging 22.5 points while scoring the ball ridiculously efficiently, making 58% of his shots. He's an absolute force on the offensive end of the floor, and his combination of strength, athleticism, and agility make him a nightmare for any opposing defender. Because of all of that, he 100% does have All-NBA potential, especially because this is only his first year, and he should continue to get better and better. However, that can only happen if he stays on the floor, and the fact that he only played 24 of the 72 games the Pelicans played this season isn't the best start. He came into the year the second heaviest player in the whole NBA, despite only standing at 6'7" tall, so without question, he's going to need to slim down a bit and get into better shape to last an entire season. And defensively, these issues hold him back as well, because especially when play resumed in the bubble, he was nearly unplayable at times because of his defensive woes. Overall, I disagree with the original take, because I still think he'll be a dominant NBA player in his prime for sure, but he'll only be able to reach that potential if he takes care of his body. The next take comes to us from Waffle, and he says that LeBron will never be better than Jordan, no matter how many rings he wins, because Jordan is simply the better player. This one I'll say right off the bat that I strongly disagree with, because writing off LeBron completely is just foolish. By now, the top two players in the history of basketball, according to anybody that knows anything about the sport, has to be Michael Jordan and LeBron James, and they're neck and neck at the top. Both have very real and very valid arguments to be made for why they deserve the #1 spot, and millions of people are on each player's sides. It's easily the most popular debate amongst NBA fans because it really is that close, and I personally am of the opinion that there really isn't a wrong answer. I know that sounds like a cop-out, but picking one over the other definitively is just too difficult to do. LeBron looks to be on his way to winning ring #4 this year against the Miami Heat, and if that happens, it's only going to make talks more contentious regarding this topic. Plus, the Lakers might not even be done here, as LeBron really hasn't declined all that much and should still have a few more years left in the tank producing at an elite level, which is ridiculous for a 35-year-old. If he finishes his career with only 3 or 4 rings on his resume, then I can see why people that side with Jordan would believe this, but I'm not convinced that LeBron's finished. And finally, the last take we'll be discussing comes to us from Sam, and he says that good head coaches are not needed to win championships. It may seem like the players are always the ones responsible for the success a team has, but behind the scenes, the coach is absolutely important if the team wants to compete at the highest level, and history supports this. Just look at all the coaches that have won pretty much all of the recent NBA championships. Names like Greg Popovich, Phil Jackson, Eric Spoelstra, Rick Carlisle, Steve Kerr, and Nick Nurse have established themselves as top-tier coaches and are responsible for almost the entirety of this decade's championships. Sure, in 2016 the Cavaliers won with Ty Lue in charge, but with Lue poised to receive a head coaching job this summer, I think he too will prove that he wasn't just a mouthpiece for LeBron and actually is a pretty good head coach himself. So overall, I disagree. I believe coaching is very important to bring talented teams together. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think of the topics we discussed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.